Hi, this is Sue Jackson of the Book by Book blog, and I'm here today with another Friday Reads. I am still immersed in getting ready for Booktopia. This is the annual event I go to with my mom every year in Manchester, Vermont at the wonderful Northshire bookstore. It's in the beautiful little town of Manchester, and it's a fabulous event where authors and readers hang out together all weekend. We get to hear from a bunch of different authors. There are usually about 8 or so. There's 10 this year. Many of us that return every year read the books ahead of time, or as many as we can. Some of them won't come out until after Booktopia this year. That's a little different. And we get to meet fabulous authors, and many of us return every year. This will be the 8th year for my mom and I. And so we've got all these wonderful friends that we get to reunite with as well. But Booktopia newbies are always welcome. In fact, it's a very warm, welcoming crowd. So tickets are still available. If you can get to Vermont in the first weekend in May, I highly encourage you to check this event out because it's like nothing else in the book world. And it is just so much fun. And if you do decide to go, let me know because I would love to meet you. So this week, just yesterday, actually, last night, I finished Optional Practical Training by Shubha Sunder. She's going to be at Booktopia. I can't wait to meet her. This is a novel about the immigrant experience here in the U.S. So the main character is Pavitra. She's just finished college. She's got a degree in physics. She's originally from India, but she went to college in Pennsylvania, very close to where we live, actually. And optional practical training is a real term in the U.S. immigration system about an optional additional year someone can tack on to their student visa in order to get a year of practical experience. And so Pavitra has done that. She's going to teach science, physics, at a private school in Massachusetts for the next year. So she's just moved from Pennsylvania to Boston. She's very excited about this experience that she's got ahead of her, but things don't go exactly as she had hoped. So the interesting thing about this book is that it's written in a really unique way as a series of conversations. And Pavitra herself doesn't say all that much in the novel. We occasionally hear directly from her, but we get to know her through her reactions and her responses to what all these different people are saying to her. Her colleagues at work, her supervisor at work, her landlord who talks her into renting an attic bedroom in his mother's house so that she can keep an eye on his elderly mother. Friends and acquaintances that she knows from school or even from home. She meets up with some other old friends or neighbors who she knew in India. And through all of these experiences, we get to know Pavitra. Now, we know right from the start, her real goal is to be a novelist. She's working on a novel. Teaching is just a means to an end. She really wants to be a writer. I really liked this book, and I found it very thought-provoking. I actually had trouble getting to sleep last night after I finished it because I kept thinking about it and what I want to talk to the author about. And the concept of home is a major theme in this novel. People are constantly asking Pavitra where she's from, where's your home? And through multiple characters in the novel, we come to realize that can be a very complicated question, not just for immigrants, but for everyone. So I really enjoyed this. Can't wait to meet the author. Next up to me, I did get one arc that's on my Kindle that I'll be reading for Booktopia. and that is Animal Instinct by Amy Sheeran. I'll see how she pronounces her name. So I haven't started it yet. I'm going to start it at nap time. But I'll just read you the very short paragraph here. The world has stopped, but Rachel is just getting started. It's spring of 2020, and Rachel Bloomstein, mother of 3, recent divorcee, and Brooklynite, is stuck inside. But her newly awakened sexual desire and lust for a new life refuse to be contained. Leaning on her best friend Lulu to show her the ropes, Rachel dips a toe in the online dating world, leading to park dates with younger men, flirtations with beautiful women, and actual in-person sex. None of them individually are perfect, hence her rotation. But what if one person could perfectly cater to all her emotional needs? Driven by this possibility, Rachel creates Frankie, the AI chatbot she programs with all the good parts of dating in middle age and some of the bad. But as Rachel plays with her fantasy to her heart's content, she begins to realize she can't reprogram her ex-husband, her children, her friends, or the roster of paramours that's grown unwieldy. Perhaps real life has more in store for Rachel than she could ever program for herself. So this sounds intriguing. I've heard some interesting things so far. My mother told me it was pornography. So I get the idea it is quite graphic sexually. But it sounds like an interesting story. I'm looking forward to reading it. That's the thing about Booktopia and about book clubs and book groups and BookTube as well. You know, you end up reading books that you might not have chosen on your own, but that, you know, can turn out to be ones that you enjoy. So I'm looking forward to that. On audio, I just finished 2 audiobooks. My husband and I finished Pitch Dark by Paul Dworin in the car on the way home from, we went to my hometown, Rochester, New York, for Easter. So it was a very quick trip, just up Friday and back Sunday. It's about 7 hours each way. So we had plenty of time to finish this audiobook that we started on our road trip. Oh, which reminds me, I posted a video of the bookstores that we visited on our road trip, 6 in all, in New Orleans, Houston area, and Nashville. So check that out. So we did finish this. We always enjoy these novels. This was number 15 in his Mike Bowditch, Maine Game Warden Investigator series. And we've listened to several of them together. Plus my husband's read the first 2 books in the series that I gave him. We always enjoy the mix of a thriller and an outdoor nature setting. And this has that as well. Here, Mike starts out looking into a man who has disappeared in the Maine wilderness, who had told other people he was searching for a father and daughter living off the grid up there. So he went in search of them, and now he can't be found. So Mike goes out to investigate. And of course, as always with these novels, there are lots of twists, lots of surprises, even right up to the very end. We both really enjoyed it. These are great books for a road trip. They really make the miles fly by. On my own this week, I finished listening to The Gray Wolf by Louise Penny, although my husband would have enjoyed this one too. This is book 19 in her Inspector Gamache series, and although it comes to a conclusion, it is part 1 of 2. This is The Gray Wolf, and part 2, which I think comes out in October, is The Black Wolf. So, and again, I always enjoy these novels. They are suspenseful. Louise Penny writes very complex mysteries. The earlier ones, not so much, but these later novels, and I've only read book 1, and then I skipped ahead to book 15. So I can't really talk knowledgeably about the entire series, Although we did watch the Three Pines TV show and really enjoyed that. We wish it hadn't been canceled after one season. Certainly these later books, the mysteries are very complex. They're very interesting. Here it begins with a series of just sort of weird events that take place in Inspector Gamache's both personal and work life. And little by little, he and his team put these pieces together. They suspect there may be some corruption right in their very own police group. So they feel like they can only trust each other. And they go all over the place to investigate this because there's some urgency. They suspect there is a horrific terrorist plot about to unfold that will affect all of Quebec. It's only the three of them investigating. They go off to northern Quebec, Washington, D.C., the Vatican, France, all over the place to try to put the pieces of this puzzle together. It was excellent, as they all are, and I really enjoy listening to these on audio. For my next audio, normally I try to listen to some of the Booktopia books on audio so I can get more read before the event begins. This year, most of the new books I could not find on audio. So and I've already bought the print copy from Northshire, though that's fine. I like to support the store. It's such an amazing bookstore. Probably the most incredible indie bookstore I have ever seen. That alone is worth the trip to Vermont. So I do already have the print copy, but this one, because it was published last year and got quite a bit of press, it is available online on Libby. And so I just downloaded it. I'm going to start that today. The Cemetery of Untold Stories by Julia Alvarez. I've heard great things about this. Now, the thing is, I'm not actually going to get to meet her next weekend. She is not a part of most of Booktopia takes place on Friday and Saturday. Officially, that's it. It's Friday and Saturday. She is a guest speaker on Sunday in an auditorium in Manchester, Vermont, so much bigger venue. And unfortunately, that's scheduled for Sunday afternoon. I'm gonna have 7.5 hours of driving on Sunday, driving my mom home to Connecticut and then myself home to Delaware. So there is no way I could do that. With my chronic illness, I barely manage this long drive by myself. And I do stop and take a nap at my mom's house in between, but it's still a lot. So there is no way I could stay for a Sunday event as well. But I've been wanting to read this anyway, so I'll listen to it on audio. And just quickly, my husband is reading Just Watch Me by Jeff Lindsay. He is the author of Darkly Dreaming Dexter, which was the basis for the Dexter TV series. My husband and I are both huge fans of Dexter, but we've never read any of Jeff Lindsay's books. So my husband's read a lot this week. He's almost finished with this. He said the writing is good, the suspense is good, it's an interesting plot, but he really doesn't like the main character. This is book 1 in a series about Riley Wolf, a master thief who steals from the top 0.1% of the wealthiest people in the world. And apparently he is ruthless. And if someone gets in his way during a theft, he has no problem killing them. So my husband said he's really arrogant in the novel and just not a likable character. So that's kind of getting in his way. And we were talking last night about, since we haven't read the books that Dexter was based on, like my husband was saying, Dexter's more likable. And we were laughing about that because Dexter's a serial killer. But he is likable. And you can kind of see where he's coming from. throughout the series, at least on TV. But I pointed out we haven't read the books, so we don't know how the author painted Dexter as a character. So it would be interesting to go back and read those novels. So he's enjoying it, but not loving the main character. And I have no idea what my son is reading. Haven't seen him since Christmas. I have talked to him a few times and we text every week, but really missing him. But he's coming to visit this weekend, so I will find out what he's reading. So that's what we're reading in our house. I would love to hear what you're reading. Please let me know in the comments down below.